welcome back to the channel. My name's Tanner with BuyFixFlip. Today we got another Jeep. So of course, in typical me fashion, I already started screwing with it before I even thought about recording. So let me do that now. Here is the new to me 1946 Willys CJ2L, which, as the non-untrained eye can tell, just a little bit longer here, about 2 feet longer. So this one is supposed to be a 24-inch stretch, not from the factory, but you could order it like this, kind of. So the story goes, there's a company in the Pacific Northwest that was a dealership, and you could order them stretched. And I'll try to see if I can drum up some of the information and maybe include it in here. But future Tanner here, there was 3 dealerships that sold these. There was Sandifer, Hollenbach, and Fields. They're all in the Spokane area, Washington area. Some sold directly to Montana, which is where I got mine. But basically they advertised this 24-inch stretch as being better for farm utility use, 6-foot bed space. They put sprayers. They could haul heavier loads. They would put bigger or smaller wheels and tires and reinforce the rear ends to hold more weight. So, you know, they went from being a war vehicle where they had to replace the horses of World War I, and they came home to where they had to replace horses on the farm. So, pretty rare vehicle. There's not a lot of them out there. Let's get back to the video. Basically, they did a 24-inch stretch on some of these. This one is actually 24 inches. It's right at about 104 and a half inch wheelbase, something like that. That's what it looks like to me, at least. Depends on how you look at it, I guess. So let's see. So this to dead center. It's about dead center. From dead center to dead center, it's about what, 104 and a half, something like that. Depends on where you look at it. So it's a full 2 foot added to it. I had an orange one previously that I bought in Michigan that I thought was also a CJ2L, and it was not. It was only 98 inches, and it's a very rinky-dink stretch, and I just didn't like the way it was done, and I kicked it down the road. This one came out of Montana, so I was also thinking, you know, hey, listen, Montana, very close to Washington where these were made. They don't come around often. It's probably a real one. So I bought it. Sight unseen, got it shipped to me. It's in worse shape than I expected, by a decent factor. And it has, I don't know, it's also kind of hokey, rinky-dink, whatever you would call it, compared to what I was expecting. It does not, again, to me, seem like this was done at a dealership. I would not put this out and think that it's quality work, but maybe in the 40s they did. It's got more Bondo than I was hoping for. It's got more rust than I was hoping for, but you know, you get what you pay for, I guess. And I didn't pay a ton for it, but I did pay more for it than I would have liked to in its current condition. So let me show you how it's stretched. First of all, I guess, let me show you. The floors are decent. You can see where some rust has came through over the years. This is wood from the original hat channel. There was wood in the hat channels to dampen vibration and, you know, all that jazz. What they didn't think about is 80 years of this wood would soak up moisture and then rust. And not even 80 years. It was happening in the 60s, 70s, 50s. It happened quick. But let's show you the stretch that I think is hokey. Here's where the stretch starts. There's where the stretch ends. In my opinion, this is solely my opinion, I don't think that looks like a factory stretch. I think that looks rinky-dink at best. I don't know why I'm using the word rinky-dink so much. I just think it looks strange. I don't think it looks factory enough. I don't think it looks strong enough. I wouldn't have done it like that. I would have grafted it a lot better, but these do look like old gas welds, maybe buzz box welds. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. At least this right here, this is the factory body mount that would have been there. So, at least you can kind of see exactly where they stretched it. But here's what I think looks kind of stupid. Like this stuff. Let me see if I can turn the light on here. Okay. So this is where they stretched it and folded. Not a huge deal. This right here, I think is very stupid. This is all Bondo. There shouldn't be Bondo here. I don't like the Bondo. I don't want it to be there. See how much this moves? I guess you can't. Hold on. Let it adjust. I don't know if you can see how much that moves. Why wouldn't they tack it to this? This looks like a structural freaking I-beam. And it looks like it's crappily welded to the frame here. Again, not picking on anybody, but same thing with it stacked on a couple of pieces of plate. Whether this is how they did this in the 40s or not, I don't know. There's just not much information around there or out there to find out what they did. So you can definitely see this original rear frame, definitely original front frame. I don't like the stretch. I don't think that I don't like the way they did it, I guess, is what I would say. And then under here, you can kind of see the flat floor. No big deal. And then back here, you see the ribbed floor. And the ribbed floor is actually in very good shape. Like, it's not rotted through anywhere. It's in very nice shape. But if you go up top, that is not the case. Also, we got a little PTO here that somebody extended the PTO shaft out the rear through a little wooden pillow block, it looks like. That looks like a fire waiting to happen. That's definitely wood. Yeah, that's wood. That's pretty risky, but let's see. Let's go top side now. So you saw what the bottom looked like, not a lot of rust. So then here is, this is plate steel tacked in. Why is this here? Because underneath you can see it's in decent shape. Why is there plate steel up here? I don't know. Also, if you come here, you see this is non-ribbed floor. This is just straight plate. Why is that here? I also don't know. You can see it's just tacked all the way around. Did it come like that? I don't know the answer to that question, but if it did, crappy quality, in my opinion. I would never have let something leave my dealership looking like this, but that's just me. Let's see. Get this spare tire out of here. Pulling carpet up because I think the carpet looks like crap. Who needs carpet in their flat fender? Not I. Okay. Yeah. I don't like this floor at all. Not even a little bit. Okay. Let's see here. How can I get this carpet off? Pull here. Man, they used all kinds of freaking adhesive for this carpet. This probably was the bee's knees back in the whatever year it was done. Jesus. Covered in it. Anyway. So yeah, all this I don't like. Am I going to do anything about it? I don't know yet. You know, maybe they did this. Here's one thing. Maybe they did this because they didn't want it to look stupid because it was ribbed and then not ribbed. When I did my 6x6 build, I thought about that a lot. That's why I used 2 ribbed floors. So maybe. But this, I also don't think was probably something they would have done. One sec. Okay. This carpet is actually very, very glued on here. Let's see. Okay. Ouch. Okay. All the carpet's out of it. Like, look at that cut. Do you think a dealership, even in the 40s, would have been okay with that? I don't think so. And same thing with this gap. The only thing I can think is that somebody did this after the fact to make it more rugged for the use and abuse it was going to see. To be able to throw stuff in, pull stuff out, throw stuff in, pull stuff out. So I guess I could see it. This stretch also, like the Bondo lines. I don't know. This right here kind of seems like something I could see them doing from the factory. Or not from the factory, but from the dealership. Like making this little piece. I just don't know, guys. This Jeep confuses me. At least it runs, albeit not great. And the brakes don't work good at all. So that definitely adds to it. I wonder if this is going to be able to be pressure washed out of here. It might be able to. We'll see. All right, guys. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, since I got this Jeep, and I'm ready to get started on it. I've been in 30 states in 30 days. It's been a crazy journey. I've been chasing rare Jeeps, military vehicles, all kinds of stuff all over the country. And now I'm back home. It's a rainy day outside, and I'm ready to get started on the CJ2L. So here she is. My girlfriend helped me clean the garage for the past 3 days. So I still have a ton of stuff laying around, but it is manageable. So these are Roxor axles, both of these, 538 Roxor axles, that I bought last year and then sold to my buddy because he was going to do a project. He decided not to do that project, and now he's looking for some 373 Roxor axles. So I'm going to use these 538s in the CJ2L. Maybe a couple days ago, last week, whatever, I started grinding away all the Bondo, and there definitely was some Bondo. So I grinded away a bunch of it. There's not much left, but I've just decided I want to pull the body. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to plug my phone in, let it charge for a second, and then get to ripping. Let's tag along. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and I got the hood and the windshield off. The hood took more time than I was expecting because I had to cut these. Somebody welded the bolts, the bolts to the hinge. So wasn't the most ideal situation, but I think they were just trying to weld the hinge to the hinge itself. and they just didn't get good penetration and thought that it would help. But I don't think I'm going to reuse this hood anyway. There's a lot of Bondo in it. I hate Bondo, and I don't know, you know. So now I got to decide what I want to do. I think I'm going to pull the fenders first, and the grill, then the body. But I'm also sitting here thinking like, hey, this motor kind of runs like crap. Do I want to get a compression check while everything's in here and already, you know, intact, or what? So I'm trying to decide right now what to do. The motor sounds terrible. I'll probably insert a clip. Of what it sounded like, and didn't sound great. And I don't know if that's a bottom end noise. I don't know if it's valves, which it doesn't sound like valves. I don't know if it's a clutch noise. I don't really know what it is, but I don't like the noise. And this already does not have a lot of oil pressure, which actually I don't know if I've even showed you guys. I'm just gonna tell you because I don't feel like letting the heat out. Approximately at ice cold temperatures, maybe 25, 28 psi of oil pressure, and that very quickly drops. And it's kind of got a misfire going on and all that fun stuff. The cool thing is this does have a nice Willys heater, which I'll never use, but it's cool to look at. But here's more of this bondoed mess in here that I'd like to get out. So I don't know, I'm just gonna keep on trucking, take a bunch of bolts off. I'm gonna pull the fenders first and then see where that gets me. I don't know, I assume I could probably pull the body in like 2 hours max, and I think I'd like to do that. So I'm gonna get cracking. The more I look at this Jeep, the more it bothers me, unfortunately, because the way they did some stuff is not the smartest. I don't want to say the smartest because it was the 40s, maybe early 50s, and they probably did what they had to do. But if I had a dealership, I would have done things differently. But then I keep reminding myself, like, you know, it was 80 years ago. They probably had different technology and different tools, and, you know, to them, this was okay to do. But to me, even as a non-perfectionist, as somebody who doesn't really care, I'm kind of a who cares how it looks as long as it works kind of guy. It still blows my mind. Let me show you what I'm complaining about. Here we are, next to the Jeep. Let's see if I can get you turned around here. 0.6. So, this is the I-beam they used to support the floor, right? Kind of stupid, not terrible, I guess. Instead of using that, you know, the existing body mount, they pitted an I-beam. They welded the I-beam to the frame for structural support, which I'm okay with. It did have the roll bar, which went through. So basically the roll bar was to the frame, which is pretty smart. The issue that I'm having is they put this on the body and this on the body, which are the lips, And you can tell they put the lips on after they put the I-beam in there, because how am I supposed to remove the body with the I-beam here? So I'm going to have to cut over and then cut over here all the way to the end, cut all that. But then this part up here is wider, so that sticks out about 1/2 inch off the side of this. So I'm going to have to cut 1/2 inch out and down on both sides. So, in my opinion, kind of stupid. It will give me a chance to fix this stupidity that they did here. All this freaking Bondo. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. And then this ugly frame edition. Like, on this side, it doesn't look as bad. But when you go to the other side and you start actually looking at it, you're like, brothers, what were you guys doing? Did you guys just go crazy with the buzz box? And to that, the answer is probably yes. Yes, they did. It's exactly probably what they did. I'm hoping that's not welded to the frame or to the body. Hopefully not. And pretty much this entire side, nothing, not attached. So the whole way up, this body is not attached to anything right now. So that's exciting. I mean, not really exciting. Exciting for the fact that it's less work that I have to do, I guess. So, yeah, I'm gonna start undoing the rear and doing the other side, which actually is attached. And then I guess get freaky with the grinder. Because I'd rather grind and weld right here, you know, grind this part out down to here so I can clear it. Rather do that than bend it, because if I bend it, then that's kind of more permanent. And I can weld pretty easily, but I don't want to do, God, try to block both lights. There we go. I don't want to do both body, or I don't want to do as much body work as I have to. Ready? Let's see if this can make you guys crazy too. They clearly used thicker, like, there's a very defined ridge here. They must have extended it with thicker material than the actual body, which there's really no way around that. So that's already going to have to be like a Bondoed seam. And I hate Bondo. I don't like Bondo. I don't think it belongs in anything. When I was younger, I thought Bondo was an okay solution to stretched metal. And now I know heat is the solution to stretched metal. Or just cut it out and get more. There's another seam, as you can see. Here's 2 random giant holes drilled. And like a patch pin on the other side. It's hard to see because this looks like camouflage almost. And then the same stupid thing here. These were for the jerry can mount, which I don't really think I need a jerry can mount. I have plenty of jerry can mounts. I don't know, not a big fan. And then I have to squeeze this back together at some point because the seam started separating and their solution was Bondo. Again. Same with here. And this is not going to be my solution. Alright, I got this part cut out and I got it jacked up a little bit. Just enough to put in some hockey pucks to kind of keep the spacing there. And then I pulled out this stupid carpeting over there that was in here. Got that all out. And pulled this guy. And I disconnected the heater. Well, the coolant hoses to the heater. Draining that. Trying to just kind of get ready to pull the body. Pull the air cleaner. And then I took out the pedals for the clutch and the brake Is this clutch wire wrapped behind it? It does. Clutch and the brake wire, or clutch and the brake are loose. And then I went to take the steering gearbox off, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, there is a skid plate down there that I've never seen before. So let's see. See that skid plate right there? I've never had that skid on one before. So basically it's kind of not the easiest to get the steering gearbox off. So what I might end up doing, which I've done before, is take the steering wheel off and then leave the steering gearbox on the frame and just kind of lift and pull the Jeep forward at the same time that I'm lifting the body up. Not the most fun thing, but it works, and I've done it before. So I just took the button off the steering wheel, and now I'm letting it soak with some deep creep. I just keep spraying inside of here just because there's the old horn assembly as well. So I'm gonna let that do its thing. Probably a dead blow, and just start easing it up out of there. So we'll see how that works. Ended up not deciding to grab a dead blow because I don't have it anymore. So which is not doing anything yet. Let's see. Let's try to reverse these. Kind of maybe budged. Alright, looks like a puller it is. With some persuasion, we were able to get this steering wheel off. So don't mind that hammer. So yeah, got it off. Honestly, I still think it was the deep creep. I kept heating and spraying deep creep down in there, and you can see that it got kind of past it. So that's good. I got to loosen up this now, and then take off the throttle linkage, then electronics, then I think it's time to pull the body. Okay. That was less than fun. I forgot how much fun it is to do it by yourself while leaving the steering column in. 4 ratchet straps from the ceiling helps. I put these up here for the M38, so they're a little bit shorter than this, but man. Let's see if we can take a look at the wonkiness of their choices. I'm gonna see if I can take this I-beam off, because this has to weigh too much. You can see that long PTO shaft now. So the next step is going to be getting transmission and transfer case out, but I do have to do a lot of work to this body, unfortunately, to keep it somewhat usable. So, all right, get to work. Been out here for a while working on the Jeep. I ended up pulling in this little fab table that I have, and I started taking all Bondo out of it. So this was all Bondoed over, and it didn't really line up, so I had to cut some pieces out of it to make it remotely normal. But I had some pieces left from the 6x6 corners that I cut out. So this is a technically M38 steel, but it's not perfect in here, basically because there's just so much body warpage already. Like right here is very warped. This whole thing is just like terrible. This is low spot, high spot, low spot, high spot, then very big low spot. So anyway, I'm gonna get this thing tacked in here, and just see what I can do about any of this body work, because man, it's rough. It's very rough. This whole thing feels like I'm riding a wave. It's just so yeah. Let me get this tacked in here. I got a good amount of work done in the past day or so. Guess let me show you here. So this was cracked from top down into here. So I just welded that up. Still have to, grind on the welds. There was a crack there. There was a crack there. This, as you remember, was a hole. I just patched it with a piece of steel that looked like this, but a little bit smaller. And then kind of ground it down, but I'm probably still gonna patch or like just tack in these little divots, then grind it smoother. This, as you remember, was like a big low spot. So remember, I cut out that piece, got it in there, ground it down. And then this one back here, I'm not really done with it yet, but you guys remember how bad it looked. There was just holes everywhere. The only hole now is right through there. So I'm gonna start filling in and making that circle a little smaller. But I wanted to keep the circle there. So I'm gonna get probably a piece of brass that I can put through there. But yeah, so far it's looking decent. It's better. Honestly, the biggest thing is that it's so much more solid up here. Like this whole thing was cracked and flimsy, and now it's moving back here where it bends instead of up here. So making some progress. I am wearing glasses today because I got some metal in my eye yesterday while I was grinding. That didn't feel great, so I had to go to the hospital last night and get it removed. We are making progress here. We've got this stuff all boogered in here. It's getting more solid. I've got some patches, just little tacks. I got this all solid now. I welded it on the other side, but this little floor, I guess, brace was not attached through. So very hard to get a ground on crappy metal, I will say. We got this all tacked up. Got this part cut out here, this part cut out here. I started cutting out that part and that part, but it's kind of hard because I'm not, one of them tall guys, and it's probably 7 feet up there. So I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do this is, because I don't think the original hat channels were a great design, and I'm also impatient and I don't want to like order hat channel material. So I'm trying to decide, should I put like square stock in here instead of the hat channels, or should I go get flat stock and kind of just make my own? Something like, let's see, something like this. Like this obviously isn't good flat stock. This is just a random piece of crappy metal I have, but something like that, and then just box it in, kind of. Do we think that's smart? Trying to decide what the best way to do things here is, because the original flat stock is a terrible design. Or I'm sorry, the original hat channels are a bad design, full of wood, etc. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna check on a local steel supplier's website real quick and look at their drop list and see what I can find. Going to be the end of part 1 of this video series. I've been out here doing a lot, and I've kind of hit a, I don't know, snag, I guess, because now I gotta get this body down off of the table to be able to do the rest of the work I need to do. So today I ground down this. Remember, this was like a big open gap from the 40s that I just welded real quick, and then hammered it down, then welded, then ground it down. So it did look like this. So you can just see just an open gap of rust. So you may think the welds look like crap, but it looks a lot better than that. And then same thing here. I just tacked the body to the hat channel for some more rigidity. And then up here you can see I just gobbed this stuff in, cut the hat channel, cut the bad stuff out, and I put in this new piece, but it wasn't long enough, so I just cut a little strip and put it down here, but then I kept blowing through. So if any of you guys have ever dealt with rusty, crappy metal, when you blow through you have to chase it, and then you have to just go and go and go until you find something solid to weld to. So that's what all this is. That's what happened all right here. That's all just blowing through all of this. Same thing, I just kind of put like little, like this stuff. It's a 1/2 inch by 3/16. I just kind of filled in any gap that I could with that stuff just to kind of give it more rigidity, because there was a gap, or there was a crack right here and there was a crack right there. So this whole thing was moving and now it's solid. So I don't care about look because it's underneath. I just care about rigidity. So as you can see up here too, I have it tacked in place. This one I have full welded, albeit not good because again, this is probably 8 feet up. I don't know, 7.5 feet up. So I just cut out the old piece and put in a new piece of just like this little C channel. So that's what I did up there, and it ended up working because this is more shallow than these ones. These ones I did the same thing with a little bit smaller gauge, but it didn't go all the way down. So I just took more of this, which is again 1/2 inch by 3/16, and I just put it on the sides and just tacked it in there. So again, I care about structural rigidity, not looks, because it's the underside of the Jeep. I don't care at all. So at least that's going to give some like stoutness to that step over there, especially when I smack it on a rock or something inevitably. But then I showed you guys the other side of this. This is nice and flat on the other side. Same with that one. Really all I have left for the body, like rust repair wise, is this stuff on this side. Right there is another one. And then on the other side of this floor, which I will show you guys real quick. Hopefully we can see it. Okay, so all the way in there, I've got to repair that. So I'm probably just gonna cut, and just put like a piece of square in. And then up there, just a tiny little bit. But really not too much in the grand scheme of things, because we did do a lot. I just don't know still about all of this steel, because like I said, you guys can see this gap here a little bit better now. Like it's not full welded in, it's just tacked. So I was thinking about cutting the tacks and just leaving maybe the floor there, but I don't know how thick that steel is. I don't know how much weight that's even going to save me. Is it worth the 40 or 50 pounds? Is it not worth it? Should I take out this divider, which would be cool? It would open up a lot of room. But that's a factory divider. That's not factory. That is a dealer installed divider. I have found out now 100%. And then I also need to pull out this little dent in that. So I've still got some work to do, but this is going to be the end of part 1. So stick around to see part 2. I've got some cool parts that are going to go in this. The Roxor axles, some custom length, and let's just say some custom springs are going to be going in it. Pick up 2 T90Cs yesterday with 1.25" transfer cases. So this T90A will be coming out, and the engine and 8th transfer case will be coming out. So we'll be getting some lower gears there. Maybe I do a 5-to-1 transfer case. I don't know yet, but it's getting a little bit colder out here, so I can't really work on it all day, every day anymore. So it's going to be just an indoor project from now on. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one.